The big developing story that we're tracking this hour, there's been a mishap involving a submarine off the coast of Mumbai. Sources in the Navy have told headlines today that the mishap involves a kilo-class submarine called INS Sindhuratna. We've learned through our sources that there has been a gas leak in the battery compartment and some personnel detected smoke and raised an alarm. Sources also saying that a few Navy personnel were suffocated during the incident. They've now been airlifted to safety and have been taken to a Navy hospital in Mumbai for emergency medical treatment. This, remember, is the third incident involving an Indian submarine in the last few months. Definitely a source of concern for the Indian Navy. We do know now that 5 personnel were airlifted to safety after they were suffocated because of the alleged gas leak in the battery compartment of INS Sindhuratna. The INS Sindhuratna, remember, one of the prides of our armory. It's a kilo-class submarine, just like the INS Sindhurakshak. This is yet another incident involving a submarine, another mishap. As our strategic affairs editor Gaurav Sawant was telling us a short while back, this is the 11th incident, the 11th mishap involving naval ships and submarines in the last 6 months. Let's get in a word from Sandeep Unnithan from India Today, our sister network, who's joining us on the phone line. Sandeep, any more information that you've been able to access?
Well, Semi, what we're hearing now is that 2 officers are unaccounted for. 2 officers of the submarine INS Sindhuratna are unaccounted for. And what we hear is that the submarine had sailed out at around 6:30 this morning. It was on what is called Task 2 acceptance trial. This is a very critical trial before the submarine can be accepted for service. And we also hear that the Commodore submarine's best, Commodore Kapoor, was on board. And there was a fire sometime this morning in the 3rd compartment of the submarine. There is a graphic, if you can show that. This is the compartment which houses the batteries of the submarine. And when the fire started, the submarine's onboard lock system, which is basically a firefighting system that uses freon gas, that was used, and freon is a firefighting gas which basically rapidly displaces oxygen, and it allows the submariners to extinguish fires in confined spaces. So because of which you have breathing apparatuses which have to be put on when this gas is discharged, and that could be a possible reason for the injuries to the 5 crews, the 5 crewmen that we hear of. And I'd like to take you back to another accident sometime back in November 2008 on board the INS Chakra, which was in Russian service. It's a nuclear submarine that was which was undergoing its acceptance trials for the Indian Navy of Russia. And there was a similar discharge of a firefighting gas, in which 20 Russian personnel were killed and 41 were injured. This is the very same gas, and the firefighting system is identical because both submarines are manufactured in Russia. And the source of the fire is not known yet, but as I said earlier, it was possibly this was in the 3rd compartment, and the personnel, including the 2 officers, were at their stations in the forward part of the submarine.
All right, Sandeep Unnithan, Deputy Editor, India Today, getting us crucial details, saying there wasn't just a gas leak, there was also a fire that was reported from the battery compartment of this submarine. Basically, also telling us that there are some people who've still not been able to be, the other officers haven't been able to locate them. He's also being able to tell us exactly who was the officer in charge of the submarine. Let's also get a word from our Strategic Affairs Editor, Gaurav Sawant, who's joining us live from our newsroom this afternoon. Gaurav, considering the details that Sandeep has been able to share with us, in the light of that, do you see this as a human error, or is this a sort of a technical glitch? And if it is, how can the Navy justify it, considering that it just sailed this morning?
Well, a board of inquiry will reveal whether it was a technical error or human failure. At this stage, the Navy is extremely perturbed. 2 officers as Sandeep was reporting, missing. The number of critical has increased to 7. 7 sailors have now been airlifted from on board INS Sindhuratna, and they've been rushed to INS Ashwini, the Indian Navy hospital in Mumbai. There was very senior officers of the submarine arm who were on board the submarine when this trial was taking place early this morning. The 7 who've been airlifted, the condition of 2 is critical, and as Sandeep was reporting, some personnel are missing. What sources are telling us that there was a minor explosion or some kind of an explosion from this third compartment near the battery area of the submarine, and suddenly that entire area was filled with smoke. Some people were asphyxiated, and that is when some personnel, the submarine immediately surfaced, and some personnel were evacuated and airlifted out of there. Navy saying at this stage we'll say nothing till the time the submarine comes back. Navy claiming that she's sailing on her own steam. So the situation is not all that critical as far as the equipment is concerned. But 2 officers missing, 7 sailors airlifted. This is a major mishap that the Navy cannot dismiss as a tire puncture on the seas, as they've been claiming with several other incidents so far, Simi.
Right, Gaurav telling us crucial details. 7 officers have been airlifted, 2 still missing. In fact, we're also being told there was a fire that was reported near the battery compartment. Crucial developments. Gaurav, while speaking to Sandeep, we also drew a parallel between this incident and one that took place in 2008 involving a Russian submarine that actually led to about 20 casualties. So clearly, this is not just another small incident that the Navy can dismiss.
No, this isn't a small incident at all, considering 2 officers are missing, 7 sailors have been airlifted. The Navy still not coming on record to say what exactly happened and what are they doing about this. They're still being very cagey. A lot of speculation even within the naval fraternity about the magnitude of this incident, but Navy countering that as of now, saying that the fact that the submarine is sailing back on her own steam goes on to indicate that the situation is not as all that serious as far as the equipment is concerned. But battery incidents have taken place in the past. Navy says that does happen, and that is why there are procedures in place to ensure there isn't an accident. So were procedures not followed, given the fact that there were top naval commanders on board that submarine at that point of time, a board of inquiry will reveal the truth.
All right, so final details to come out from the board of inquiry. The evacuation process is still on. Gaurav telling us that now 7 officers have been evacuated, 2 still missing. We'll continue tracking developments. Gaurav, thanks so much for that update.